There we are. We are live. So welcome everyone to the Hangout. If you're new here, welcome to the video. My name is Nick. This is my wife,
Andrea.
And this is our channel all about reselling. We're resellers. We buy stuff that you can see surrounding us here and we sell it on the internet. And on these Thursday shows, we try and get other resellers on and have a chat with them. And I'm really pleased to say my good friend Lonnie is back on. How are you?
Hey, hello everyone. Hi Nick. Hi Andrea. Hello UK. Good to be here.
Yeah, we were saying before, last time we were on a video together, we were doing this Mr. and Mrs. thing, which was quite amusing, quite revealing. So this won't be quite as embarrassing, hopefully. So yeah, we are live. There is a live side chat as ever. We'd love to try and read your questions if you have any. If you've got any questions for Lonnie, how he runs his business over in America, anything like that, please pop them in. We'll try and keep an eye on it. Well, you said you're going to try and
I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, because I'm notoriously bad at keeping up. We'll just say a few hellos before we start, Lonnie, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
Scroll back. Lucy T, as ever, first in, saying hello. Do you want to read some hellos out?
Yeah, Donna's in. Hi, Donna. Three Brothers TV. Sean, Peter, Jacoby. No, Jacoba. I can't even pronounce. Sorry. Jacobo Mendoza is in. Sorry, can't pronounce your name. Janet's in. Hi, Janet. Angel Jones and Adrian's in. Hi, Adrian. Hope you're doing well.
Yep, lots and lots of people. We can't read everyone's name out. We will be here forever. I'm going to scroll down to the end. As I said, if you do have questions, if you try and type questions in capital, oh, hang on, just lost Lonnie. Where's he gone? There we go. just lost the window. We will try and get onto those as well.
Yeah.
So how are you and how is business? Shall we start with that?
I'm doing well. Business is a little right now because it took a few days off over the weekend. We took like a long weekend and went to Houston. We had actually, you would have liked this. It was a worldwide World Lego Expo.
Really?
Yeah, it's like education, like kids from all over the world compete like with robotics and like building like in my daughter's case, they had like this moon mission thing and they had to solve a problem on the moon and build it up. They had like a what is Mindstorms, but it's like the younger version.
Okay, yeah.
And big event, dude. It was awesome.
Our daughter was involved. It wasn't actually Lego, but it was a similar science competition
like a
thing.
Robot thing. They had to build a robot and make it work. And it was a bit like Robot Wars, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, it's always the same though.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I was going to say we've had a few days because sadly Andrea lost her nan and the funeral was yesterday. So we've had a few days where eBay isn't your focus, and that's all it takes for sales to really drop off.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true.
It's that instant. So for those that haven't come across your channel or haven't seen any of the videos where you've joined me on this channel before, do you want to do a little bit of an intro about yourself and where you are and what you do?
Okay, sure. Yeah, my name is Lonnie, as we already mentioned, and I live in Louisiana.
I think we've lost your
which
video.
Is in the southern United States.
We've lost you. We can't see you anymore, and we can barely hear you.
We've lost you, Lonnie.
Oh no!
No, come back. Okay.
Oh dear.
I'm not sure what's happened there. Lonnie is a frozen image, and we can't see or hear him now.
No.
I guess he's lost his internet. Oh well, that's
chat amongst
hopefully
yourselves.
Lonnie will log out and log back in. Let me message him on Facebook and tell him that we can't see or hear him. He might be talking to himself. Hold on. We have lost you. Can you log out and back in? Oh no.
Bad times.
Right, we'll have to amuse ourselves for a minute and hope. Oh well, Lonnie's just gone, so hopefully that's him logging out and he'll log back in.
But there's been a super chat from Tommy Bernhard. Said Ethernet Shed Fund.
Hey, Lonnie, you're back.
Back.
Audio there's no visual still.
Oh man, shit.
Well, hang on.
Hold on. Let me highlight you. Yeah, I can see you now, but it's breaking up.
Okay, man, I'm sorry. We're having some bad weather right now. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Can now, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
Lord.
so we'll try. We'll try and persevere with that. So you having storms or something?
Yeah, but I wonder if maybe I went and reset my router, if that would help. Can you keep them entertained for like 3 minutes?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
You try that. Yeah, we'll read some chat for a minute.
Yeah, there's no point reading questions because most of them are for Lonnie.
True. So what was the super chat? That's Tommy. Oh, Tommy Bernhard. Ethernet Shed Fund. Yeah.
I noticed that Shazad is in the chat. Do you want to ask Shazad about our mystery package?
Did you send us something, Shazad? Are you in? While we try and get Lonnie back, because we had a strange mystery package arrive this morning.
Yeah, and we thought it was probably from you, but we weren't sure.
It was from a pharmacy. What was the pharmacy name? I can't. Extreme Pharmacy or something.
Yeah.
Is that Shazad's business? I don't know. Has he answered yet?
Yes, it was.
Right. Okay.
Well, thank you. That was a bit of a surprise, and then obviously there was no note in it or anything, so we didn't know it was from you. So we kind of guessed it was.
Yeah, it's like a load of scents.
So, yeah.
I don't know if they're just like perfumes or aftershaves or what they are. One was called. Was one called Andrea? Or something? Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for that. That was lovely friend mail.
If you've just popped in, Lonnie is with us, but he's having internet problems. He was breaking up and dropping on and off, so he's gone to reset his router, and he's hopefully going to be back in a minute. Until then, you'll have to put up with just us.
Yeah.
Hi Kelly, how are you? Question: do you think we'll put some of these questions to him when he gets back? Do you think
for Lonnie? So.
Do you think Candace will ever quit her job and join you? Oh, good question.
Oh, Damien says, tell us how you two came across Garage Flips channel.
I think a video of his was recommended to me way back when he first started, and I started watching Lonnie when he had just put out his first few videos. I don't know how many years ago that is, like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, I think actually Lonnie had been messaging me because he found my channel before he was making videos, and we were chatting sort of behind the scenes, and then he started making videos. Yeah. So he may have even said to me, I've made some videos, come watch. I can't remember. It's so long ago.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course we say Garage Flips, but in America it's Garage
Flips.
Garage.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we say it differently. He's back.
Oh, Daisy May said that Andrea perfume is nice. They sell it at my pharmacy. Oh, cool. It did smell nice. Never had a perfume named after me, not after me, but,
Can you hear us, Lonnie?
Oh, you're there.
I can hear you, but I think slow.
Yeah, you're still breaking up. Oh man.
Oh no, this is
well, we'll persevere. If we can't get this running, we may have to reschedule, because there's not going to be a whole lot of point if we can't get Lonnie's internet running. Last time it's fine when we did that game with Stephen Steph, and he was in his shed, as he calls it then.
Yeah.
The Hills is in and says, thank you, Nick, for your generosity today. That's fine. Absolutely fine. I've sent you some, well, as you know what I sent you, but for everyone else, I've sent some board game spares. But Trevor has been a fantastic customer of ours, so it's the least we could do. Right, let's try that. Oh, you're all sideways now.
My gosh, I'm trying to do this on the phone.
Okay, that's working.
Okay.
I don't know if you've got the screen on lock. If you unlock the screen, you might be able to tilt it.
Okay, how is this?
Let me just highlight on you. Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. All right. Thanks for y'all's patience. I'm very sorry. My internet went wonky at the exact wrong time. So.
Okay.
It's such life, isn't it? It's like that.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Okay. What was that question again?
I can't remember. Oh yeah, I was just saying, for those that maybe haven't watched your channel yet or seen any of the videos we've done before, you were just going to sum up sort of who you are and where you are and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Lonnie. I am in the southern United States in Louisiana. And I've been a full-time reseller, mostly on eBay, for about 4.5 years now, I think it is. And yeah, I basically buy stuff at yard sales, garage sales. I have a few like personal contacts too that I buy from. And I mostly sell them on eBay. I'm a pretty simple dude. Pretty simple. There's not like a real complex thing going on here. I buy used stuff and I sell it to people on eBay for the most part.
If it works, don't fix it. All right.
It's what I enjoy, man. I love it. I love the freedom.
So you mentioned there about sourcing. That was something I wanted to ask you about. I mean, you say garage sales. So how does that work in America? Do they tend to be organized things that you can look up on the internet, or do you just drive around and randomly find those? I've never really understood how that works.
Okay. Well, people do it differently. Like there's an app that a lot of people use. It's called Yard Sale Treasure Map. And it basically will pull all the yard sales that are advertised on Craigslist into the app, and then it'll put it on a map, and then you can it'll route you around and stuff. But I don't do that. I use Craigslist. I use the newspaper classified ads, and I use Facebook, and I find all the yard sales I want to go to. I plug them into this app called En Route, which is a mapping app, or a routing app, I should say. And it makes a route for me. And then I just drive the route. It's like I'm a delivery guy or something like that, running a route on a Friday and Saturday morning.
And typically, how many of those do you think you get to in a day?
Man, it's hard for me to get to more than I would say, unless we're dealing, sometimes you'll have neighborhoods that'll have 15, 20 houses or more all participating in a neighborhood yard sale, and they'll all get together and do it the same day. But if it's not, barring something like that, it's really hard for me to get to more than I'd say 25.
Okay. Yeah, it started to become kind of popular here, a similar thing. What do they call it?
Call them either yard sale trails or garage sale trail.
Yeah, when a village or a town will organize it. So on the same day, there might be sometimes 40 or 50 stores, and you physically can't get around them all in the time allotted.
Yeah.
If it's a big one. But yeah, they're becoming, certainly in our part of the country, they're becoming quite popular.
We love them, don't we?
And
it's like treasure hunt. You get a
map. Houses?
Yeah.
Is it at the houses themselves?
Yeah. Similar to when I've watched your videos, if you're outsourcing, and some of the other channels show, GoPro footage of yard sales, that's what it's like. Because typically we source from a car boot sale where everyone takes their stuff to a field, which isn't typically what's done in America. But yeah, yard sales are becoming a thing, and we want to try and organize one in our town just to get all that stuff out on the street.
Started at organize it and then have it start at 8 in the morning, but you're there at 7 just to check and make sure everybody's doing okay, right?
Yeah. And sometimes when we've been to them, you can go to a Facebook page and people will be saying the sort of stuff they've got. Do people typically list anything that they have, or can you ask people beforehand what they've got on Facebook or something?
A lot of times they will. A lot of people will include in the classifieds thing, they'll include a little text, listing out some of the stuff they have. And then on Facebook and Craigslist, some of them will put photos of everything.
Yeah.
But you can't always trust that. And it's kind of counterintuitive. Like the sales that advertise, say, retro video games, right? That's probably not the sale where you're going to buy the retro video games.
No, because it'll be gone in a moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. It's probably going to be some other sale that's advertising, some baby stuff or whatever. And, then you'll ask them if they have any video games, and they'll go inside and pull them out and hand them to you, Yeah. That's typically how that goes. But yeah, I mean, I don't trust that a whole lot when they describe what they have, but it helps a little bit, I guess.
Thrifty 50/50 vet says, can Lonnie do his funny British accent?
Oh my gosh, no. I don't have one. I've heard Nick's Texas accent before. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, who was it asked me to do that? That was mortifying. Was that on one of the 6-pack things, I think? And yeah. God dear.
Yeah. A couple of questions for you. Sean Gilbert says, what did the police do after you got burgled? Do they help in the US, or are they just as bad as they are here in the UK?
I'm not going to say they're bad. I mean, although they didn't get anything done. I don't know if y'all knew. Did I tell you this before, Nick? This was right after it happened. There were 3 units that were broken into, including my 2, and they stole some stuff.
Yep.
And then the next weekend, the very next weekend, I don't know if you knew this or not. I didn't talk about it much because it was like a pending investigation. It's been a while now. But they came back that weekend and they hit 22 more units.
Oh,
wow. That's a long time to be in there.
Yep.
Wow.
So they must have had lookouts and were, the first run through, they're probably like, well, nobody came. There was no alarm. There's no camera. It might have been like a test run. And the next time they came back and just like hit them hard. But no, as far as I know, like I've talked to the cops a few times, they never found out who did it. And I filed my little insurance claim. I got some money back, and ultimately the good thing was it made me get this shed. So, hey.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. How is the shed, which is where you're broadcasting from now, right? You're in your shed, come office, come warehouse, storage, all in one thing. How has that changed your business? And was it a worthy investment, do you think?
Absolutely, dude. Well, I tell you one thing has changed is I was keeping my inventory off site. And so what I would do, typically, I would bring my youngest daughter to school every morning. Then I'd swing by the storage, which wasn't far, just a couple of minutes away. I'd pull the orders that I had going out that day. And then I'd come back home and I'd go in my other little work area that I had before. And I would pack the orders. And, that worked okay. But now I wake up, do whatever I got to do. And then I come out to the shed office thing. And my inventory is right here, which is awesome. Like if somebody asks a question or, you get a pretty good many questions. If somebody asks a question, I can actually answer it right away.
Yeah, and I think that's key. We're lucky in that this is, as you know, attached to the side of our house. If we're sat there in the evening watching a TV program or something, you get a question, I can respond to that within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the difference between a £50 sale or not. You know what I mean? Because people are impatient. If you don't answer, they're on to the next person that's offering that item,
And quite often they expect you to be wherever you are, like at 3 in the morning.
People
or
expect
whatever,
it's like,
an hour later, why haven't you answered me? Well, it's Sunday.
So I think that will be a game changer because you'll get all those sales that you're responding to.
Yeah, and if you answer right away, I think it also kind of plants the seed in their head that, hey, if this person answers quickly, there's a good chance if I buy it, they will also ship quickly.
Yeah. It's just good customer service, no matter what way you look at it. If you fire out a question and within 5 minutes you're back giving them all the measurements of something, they're like, okay, I'm game, let's buy it. It's like, it's superb.
Yeah. So
do you want to describe what you've built there and how you came to decide on doing that? Give us a bit of a look.
Well, you mean as far as the shed goes?
Yeah.
So, the size, I think the size of this is similar to the size of the room that you're in right now.
It is. I remember when we chatted last, I think yours is actually bigger because ours has got a step in here. And I think it's a little bit thinner, ours actually. But lengthwise, it's about the same. Similar size, but ours steps in by about 2 foot here. So the far end is thinner, and I think it's probably about a foot or so thinner all the way, thinking about it now.
But yeah, this is 30 feet long and 12 feet wide. And the way I came up with that measurement is I measured from a tree that is right behind it to the driveway. And I'm like, well, I can fit about 30 foot there. And that's how I got it. So
Okay, so we're in your backyard at the minute, is that right?
Kind of a side yard, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And yeah, I could pull the car right up to it. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, how did I decide to go with this versus
Yeah, what was the
retail
thought?
space or something? Or
Yeah, I mean the thought process, because it wasn't a cheap investment. Let's put it that way. You don't have to share how much you've spent, but it was a big chunk of cash, as opposed to, I mean, was it the security thing? Was that the main? Because we were talking before. You were broken into. You had stock stolen. The stock was away from the house. You thought it was secure, but let's say it wasn't. Was that
right?
the main factor then?
Yeah, fair point. Yeah. Okay, I see where you're going now. Yeah, that was a huge factor, because I wanted to put security system in here, and I wanted to be able to run out here. Like, I was extremely paranoid when this first happened. Like, it wasn't like a huge monetary or financial loss, but it was like, I don't know, man. I just stopped believing in humanity for a few days there. You know, like you kind of when nothing bad happens for a while, you start kind of getting naive and thinking, oh, everybody's great, everybody's like me, everybody's nice, and nobody would do anything like that. And then when it happens, you get like, you clamp down in a hurry, and that's what happened with me.
Totally.
yeah, we've been there.
Well, when we were
Totally
broken into when we had a retail unit, not here. We were broken into a number of times. One time was quite catastrophic, and you were kind of done with it at that point.
Yeah, well, it was weird. You were to start with, and I was like trying to get you through it, and then I was like, no, I'm done. I just don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, we lost all faith in people, like you say. And
I remember you lying on the floor that night while we waited for the people to come and board it up, and you were like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the loss that hurts, of course. Like, I don't know how much stock or money or whatever y'all lost. I'm sure it was considerable, but it's not just that, it's the violation.
Yeah, that's the worst. That really is.
We'd spent so much blood, sweat and tears building that shop, physically building all of the racking.
Yeah, it was like a second home.
And it was that invasion.
Yeah.
It was something we'd created with our own hands.
Yeah.
And somebody came in and literally smashed it up with a sledgehammer, took all the stock and went away. And it's like, okay, I am a bit of a wreck now. So yeah, I really felt for you when that happened.
But it's good though, because I mean, we learn from stuff like that,
Yeah.
Totally. It's fine.
It takes, like you just said, it takes you in other directions. So, you wouldn't have had that. You wouldn't have thought to have a shed in your garden if that hadn't happened to you, and we probably wouldn't be here if it hadn't happened to us.
Potentially, yeah.
And honestly, getting this shed, it's kind of revived my enthusiasm for the business. It's revived my enthusiasm somewhat for YouTube. I think the viewers kind of dig the shed. Like I do a video and it's like they're almost going to like, I kind of equate it to, some of them I think feel like they're going to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, or I don't know if y'all have that.
Nope.
I'm just saying, like, it's like a, I guess if Nick gave me a look like, dude, what are you talking about? But I mean, it's like like reseller world in here or something. It's kind of, it's kind of cool. I like it. I dig it.
I think you're right. Your videos, the whole going and fetching your stock and doing the kind of menial, I've sold this and taking it back, and there's something really enjoyable about that. And I've made a few videos kind of based on that style, and people really enjoy that. They feel like they're there with you, with your point of view, going and fetching the stuff, and that format really works.
It's almost
I'm starting to get tired of it.
We felt that way when we were doing our weekly vlogs. It felt like we were just doing the same thing day in and day out, and the weekly vlogs were the same. And
the point that some people have said to me is, remember that the stuff is king here, and as long as the stuff is varied and interesting, it doesn't matter that you're doing the same thing. People want to know what you sold, how much you sold it for. They want to know the facts and figures about the stuff. That's the way I look at it now. It's like, I may be dull as hell. People don't come here for me necessarily. They come here because of the stuff I sell and how much I sell it for.
I think they do, though, Nick. I think they do.
I think I think a little bit. But if you start to think it's all about you, then you're in trouble as well.
No, you're right. I think you're right to an extent.
But
no, you're right.
while we're talking about YouTube, I don't think I've put the link below, but if you just search Garage Flips, you will find Lonnie's channel instantly.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And it's been great to watch. I mean, you said you've been doing on YouTube, what is it, 4 years now, 4 years since you started?
It's been a little over 3 years.
Right. Yeah. And somebody was asking while you dropped off air for a minute, how I first found you. And I couldn't remember, but I think
I know
you started following me and we were messaging a bit. Was that?
Well, no, it was me. I spammed you. I'd been watching you for a few months, and I almost hesitate to say this because now you might be inundated with messages, but I'd been watching you for a while, and I was just amazed. Like I was learning so much from watching your channel, you know, because you dealt with toys and board games and all this other cool stuff that you deal with, and I've just been soaking it up. I'm like, well, heck, I want to make a YouTube channel too. So I made a YouTube channel and I made a couple of videos and nobody watched. Of course, I'd publish a video and they would get like 3 views. And I think one might've been my mother, you know? And so I spammed Nick. Like I didn't spam him. I just reached out. I said, hey, Nick, I've been watching your channel, you know, as you do. I've been watching your channel for a long time. Really enjoy it. I started my own channel. Yeah. And Nick was gracious enough to, you know, respond back. Hey, I'll check it out. Thanks for letting me know. And he was like really nice. And then after the channel grew just a little bit, he had me on his channel. Yeah. Which like was cool. So yeah, Nick was a big incubator for me, man. I appreciate you dealing with me in the early.
Absolutely. What I was going to say was it's been so much fun watching you from that point when there was a little bunch of us following your channel and chatting and you know, it was really cool, but it was tiny, as ours was in the beginning, to the point where you're at now, where it's just taking off. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to watch. So
yeah,
you
guys are taking off too. That's been fun to watch.
I know, right?
There is a question from George Ross who says, if you were reselling in the UK, what do you think that you would have to do differently? Pros and cons.
Wow.
Ooh. I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's that other than the sourcing, because I've watched plenty of UK channels, and I think maybe one thing that I think would be even more crucial though is to create several personal contacts as quickly as possible. You know, where you're not always having to go out to the car boot, which I struggle with that still myself though. You know, going out to garage sales and stuff. But I mean, the more personal contacts you can make, where you can make like private buys instead of, you know, going out there with the general public and competing. I think maybe that might be more crucial there, but I'm not sure if it is or not.
I don't know necessarily. I think you were right in the first instance. There's not, the basics of it are exactly the same. It's a case of just having a good eye and getting out there and grafting, really. And I think that translates wherever you are.
Yeah, because like I said, when I was first starting, I was watching your channel to learn how to resell. You know, and like there are some things that are different as far as like pop culture goes, but most things are not different. Most things are the same. I could take your bolos and apply them here typically, you know, except for like some of the pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
Pete's question.
Is there a question there?
Yeah, it's Pete's Retro Collectibles says, Lonnie, did you really smash up that game cartridge?
I'm not going to say. I'll let you watch the video. Go back. Y'all watch that video again about Earthbound, and you like really back it up and play it slow or whatever. I'll let you figure it out.
I'll tell you, that was a jaw on the floor moment for me. I did not see that coming, and you know how much I love retro video games. I don't think you've seen it.
I don't think I've seen it. No.
It's a video game worth a few $100s, isn't it? I think that one.
Okay.
And gets to the end of the video, and then randomly out of nowhere, he just smashes it up with a hammer. There's no warning. There's no nothing. But yeah, great video. I mean,
weird.
Go and check that out. And
I'm gonna have to watch it
if you're watching. Yeah,
it might have been a little weird. I don't know. I wanted to give a big finish. to the people that made it that far in the video.
I thought it was great. It reminded me a little bit of the time I smashed up a Furby with a proper big sledgehammer. Did you see that one?
Yep, I remember that.
Right, have we missed any more questions?
I like to have fun sometimes, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we do. It's become a big part of our channel. It's just chilling out and having fun. We do the quizzes. We do the stuff with Steve and Steph, which is hilarious. Yeah, it's a huge part of what we do.
Dude, I was watching y'all with Steve and Steph. Was that yesterday or day before?
Day before.
Yeah. You got a few points, didn't you?
Man, that was fun. I love the music trivia. That's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time you ask a question, not only is it fun like to try and answer it, but then whenever you talk about a song, like I instantly go back to and I remember where I was when I like first heard that song or some moment in my life. It kind of attaches to it. So there's more going on for me than just like a year of a song. It's like it actually takes me back momentarily, you know?
Yeah, that's what music does. That's the great thing about music. I mean, all the quizzes we do would be music if it was up to us, but some of our viewers want general knowledge, so we have to switch it up.
Dude, y'all could do that every day, man. I would be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do want to beat Steve though, because he was talking some trash at the end, saying I beat you, Lonnie, or something like that. And,
he always does. He always bigs up because it's me and Steve versus the girls, and every time he bigs it up, so me and Nick have got this.
Well, he was right this time, wasn't he?
Well, he did. Yeah, he won. To be fair, this time, but
he did really well.
There's another
question from Chelsea, who's Alan, says, "Do you think that Candice will ever quit her job and join you selling full time?"
This is something we haven't talked a lot about. One big thing, she works fairly close by. She's got a good job. She's got a good boss. She's got good vacation. She's got good benefits. I mean, she likes her job for the most part. And the big thing here, she has health insurance there for the whole family through. And I know that's not y'all don't have to pay for private health insurance, do you?
No, it's an option that we have national health, so we get dealt with if we're ill. So yeah, we don't have to pay. A lot of people do pay for private cover, but you don't have to.
No, I mean we're incredibly
I don't know if
in this country, to be honest. We've moaned about.
I don't know if y'all know this or not, but that's a big hurdle. That's a huge barrier to entry for people in the United States that want to become resellers. Like if Candice did not have that job, and I feel bad about this sometimes, if Candice did not have that job, I wouldn't have been able to quit my job because, you know, we've got to have health insurance is very expensive here, you know, so
yeah,
it's really hard that's like the biggest hurdle, I think, for a lot of people is health insurance here in the US.
You know, I'd never even thought about that in relation to what you do and what other resellers do. But yeah, it's a really good thought, actually. And we forget how lucky we are.
I know, well, totally. We're constantly complaining about the NHS.
Oh, everyone bitches about the NHS, which is the National Health Service, like all day long. But it's an amazing service.
Amazing.
It's never going to be perfect. But
when you think about the fact that if you have cancer, you get cancer treatment. I mean, you know, in America, it would bankrupt you.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have health insurance. You know, you do.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a big difference. That question was asked, like, what would be different? I would think it would be easier to become a reseller in the UK for that one reason alone. You don't have that consideration. You know?
I think you're right. Yeah, I'd never considered it. Never even thought about it.
That's because you've always had it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Take it for granted completely.
Yeah.
Okay, you're looking for more questions.
I am. Talk amongst yourselves. I haven't found one yet.
Well, while you look for questions, I was going to ask, you mentioned briefly about sourcing. A huge part of what you do is yard sales. And you mentioned contacts and growing contacts. I've seen in recent videos of the last few months, one in particular has come up trumps time and time again. How have you got any advice on nurturing contacts, or how did that one come about?
Okay, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with this because and here's like a huge mistake that I made early on is that like whenever you go around to yard sales, like I probably hit I don't know, 1,000 yard sales or more a year. Oh no, it's probably well more than 1,000 yard sales a year. So that's like over 1,000 individual contacts you make with people, during the year. And for the most part, up until I'd say about a year ago, I've been very secretive about why I'm buying their stuff and what I'm going to do with it, because I was concerned that they wouldn't give me as good of a deal. They would get mad that I was going to profit from their stuff, and this one sale that I went to, he had a bunch of cool stuff out there, and I started making a pile. And I was just kind of, hey, look, and we're going to make a pile over here and we'll make a deal. It's like, oh yeah, he lit up. He was happy. He just wanted to get rid of stuff. And as we're talking, he goes, do you sell on eBay? And I said, I thought, and that was the pivotal moment. I was like, I do. I sell on eBay. As a matter of fact, that's pretty much what I do. And he lit up. He's like, man, I have like 2 storage units full of stuff. We need to get together. And that's how it started. I've made like 5 buys from this guy now. And it all started with me making the choice to be honest about what I was going to do with his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's, I don't know if you've seen, but it's the coolest stuff. It's like, wow, it's all like comic book stuff and collectible miniatures and all sorts. Not even some of the great big figures are just amazing. Do you think he's just a collector, or has he got contacts within the industry? Because it's so much stuff.
He's been collecting for years, and he's also does some reselling himself, but he has a full-time job. He's in management with Walmart, and he has a full-time job. He likes to collect and he likes to flip, but so he'll go in, he'll buy storage units sometimes, or he'll buy entire collections from someone. He has hookups at like comic book shops and stuff and card shops. And he'll buy entire collections, keep what he wants. And then the rest of it, since he has a full-time job, he doesn't have time to like piecemeal it out. He wants to flip it fast, turn over his money and not have to store the stuff because he doesn't, have time or storage to deal with the bulk. So it's like kind of a perfect relationship.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was going to say on that note, I think we are still, after all these years, quite shy about letting people know what we do.
Well, it can go either way, can't it? Sometimes you get abuse for it. Like if you are honest, people are not very pleasant to you, and other times you get that. So you have to make that split decision, don't you? In that moment, sort of try and gauge what you think you're going to get back.
What I think we need to keep in the front of our mind is that the biggest, most profitable deals we've ever had have come from people knowing we're resellers and pushing that question.
That's right. Because like, let's say it does go bad, because I have the same fear, Andrea. Like, you have to make that decision. You have to make that judgment call. Can they handle this information or not? And what's the worst that could happen? Like if you're buying, say, I don't know, like a video game or a little stack of DVDs or some games or whatever the heck you're buying. And let's say the absolute worst case, they just flip out. They flip out and they say, oh, you're a reseller, and they take the stuff back. That's not really going to happen, but that's the absolute worst case. Best case, you make like an extremely valuable contact. So
you're right. I think long term you win more than you lose. I'm gonna have to dash and get a drink because I've got a really tickly throat. Carry on, dear. You'll be fine.
Thanks. Yeah, no, we've definitely had that a couple of times where somebody's asked if we resell and we've been honest, and then they've like taken all the stuff back and said we're not selling it to you then.
Really?
It's been really quite shocking sometimes, and you think, oh, okay. And then you just move on.
Might be different there. You think that might be a different between the UK and the United States? Like, do you think people are more sensitive to that in the UK?
I don't know. There seems to be an attitude, definitely in the UK, amongst some people, that they think that reselling is wrong somehow. Like you're, I don't know, profiting from I really don't understand it, to be honest, but it's like they see it as you being greedy, or I don't know what is that attitude, that sort of negative.
I think it is. I think maybe people in the UK are more sensitive overall than in the United States to that. I really, that's the vibe I've gotten. I don't know if it's right or not.
It could be.
I think just some people get funny about you making money off their stuff.
Yeah.
But they can't see past, we're going to pay you what somebody else will pay you. Why does it not stop there? Why do you have to?
And you're going to get the money for it, so it doesn't matter really what happens to it afterwards. Along these sort of same lines of what you've been talking about, Two Can Play It that asks, do you collect anything that you're always on the lookout for at yard sales?
Well, I don't really collect much, but I have been enjoying putting signs on this wall right here.
Yeah, I've been admiring those, actually. They're really cool.
Those are fun, although it's filling up quickly in here. I've actually got like 4 more signs. I've had some viewers send me some stuff, and but yeah, I like that. But no, as far as I consider all this inventory in here kind of a collection, you know, that I hold for a little while and then I let it move on to somebody else. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Is that your GoPro?
That was my GoPro. I don't know why it's beeping at me. We're scrolling back to catch questions. I'll come back to the end soon. Fritz asked you, can the shed be moved like a camper on wheels? Could be handy if you move to another place.
It can, because that's how they brought it here. Like, I actually have a video on my channel whenever it came in. I think it's how do you, oh man, I can't remember. There's a big, if you scroll back to sometime in early February, I think, on my channel, you'll see like a big shed like coming down the driveway, and that I show like how they do it. But they truck it in. It's on the back of a flatbed truck, and then they have this machine that they hook up to it. It's almost like a forklift type thing or whatever, but it can really maneuver well around tight corners and stuff. And they basically just push it into place, and then they, in my case, like you could put it on a slab or whatever. In my case, it's up on cinder blocks.
Okay.
So I mean, it could be moved. It wouldn't be easy.
Yeah.
Farm Girl Scavenger Noel says, I love when Lonnie does his shipping and says, and shipping on top. It cracks me up. I've started doing it also.
You know what's bad, Nick? I think I stole.
I think you've mentioned that. Yeah, it's catching.
Didn't you? Do you say
shipping
that?
on top? I say, yeah.
But I mean, you've said it for quite a while, right? I picked it up. I started saying it, and then all of a sudden, I just kept saying it, and people like kept kind of mentioning it. I'm like, uh-oh. I think I stole it.
There's lots of phrases that come up all the time on Facebook and in other people's videos now, like sticky stock that I started, silly season, which is what I call Christmas. That crops up all up. I don't know if it started with me, but it's certainly a phrase that I picked up on, and then it's kind of grown out from the videos. There's various ones, but yeah. Donna Tully says, I think a USA road trip and a meetup is needed. I would love that.
Love that.
We love America. As you know, we were there last year, but we were down in Florida. But yeah, well, we really want to retrace the road trip we did in 2000, wasn't it? And we came right through Baton Rouge and around your area. So yeah, if we ever get to do that again, we're coming to say hello.
Hey, can you come in June?
Yeah,
probably not, huh? That's kind of close. But we're going
this year. No.
On the,
We've just booked up to go to Disneyland Paris, so we're all cleaned out financially this year.
Oh, you need to find another hardhead.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, let's scroll down and see if we've got any more questions. Did you ask that? No,
I haven't asked that.
Sean Gilbert says, question, does eBay USA have fulfillment centers? So like FBA for eBay, that sort of thing. And if so, have sales improved? It's coming to the UK, apparently.
I've heard something about this. I don't know anything about it, though. I don't know if it exists, if it's a pilot program that they're trialing, or if they do it, it's not like a widespread rollout yet that I know of. So
no, I think because we did a few videos with a company in the UK that are doing a very similar thing called Habu, and I think eBay themselves have been working and trialing stuff, but I've not heard any hard facts about it yet.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd use the service for most of what I do anyway, because it's quite manageable from here, and obviously there'll be fees involved. They're not going to do it for free, are they? So
yeah, I guess it. Well, you still do a lot of FBA, Amazon FBA, don't you, Nick?
yeah, but there's a benefit in that for what I can charge. I can't see that using an eBay fulfillment center would allow me to charge anymore. So I'd just be losing the fees to pay eBay to warehouse and ship it.
Well, here's a question for you, Nick. If you were able to sell, let's say twice as much as you currently sell as far as eBay goes, all right, then would you be able to find that much more stock to keep yourself replenished, or do you think you're pretty near the limits of your ability to find stock?
It's a good question, but you'd still have to prepare it and send it up. I don't know that there's a lot less work apart from the storing it. You're doing most of the work to get it up there anyway. You see what I mean? I don't know. I'd have to trial it. It would be a really good experiment to do if it does come out. If a few of us try it out and see what we think. So. Because to be fair, when we trialed this Habu service, I sent up the biggest, bulkiest, heaviest stuff I could, because that's what made sense. And it was such a joy whenever we sold these sets of car mats, because I didn't have to touch it.
Yeah.
And they shipped it out. So it was a joy in that sense that it really freed us up. I just can't see a time certainly when I'd have all our inventory there. I could just see that the expense of it adding up. If it's cheap and it's affordable, maybe that would be a game changer.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's hard to say, because like the stuff you're like me, I think. Most of the stuff you buy it so cheap. Your margins, whenever you do make sales, are just ridiculous. Right? So I guess it would come down to how much stuff can you source. You know, like it doesn't matter. Like if they're charging a lot, maybe that would work if you could just source more. You know,
yeah,
and then you wouldn't have to store the stuff, or you know.
I'll tell you what it might come down to. Obviously, this is all complete conjecture because we don't know how this would work. But if it was super easy, like you print off a load of stickers and you stick it on your item, put it all in a box, and it's that super quick. FBA isn't that simple. There's a lot of work, quite a lot of process to go through. And I think there would have to be, to some extent, you know, some sort of processing of the stock, in which case, because you're going to have to list it and write the description anyway. They're not going to list it for you, surely. So you still got to do all the work, basically, but you're just shipping it to them instead of your customer. So I don't know.
That's kind of the dream, right? You just spend all your days sourcing.
Yeah.
And then, at the end of the day, you drop it off at somebody and let them do everything.
Yeah, if they're going to list it for you. Yeah. But eBay aren't going to list it for, and I wouldn't trust. I would have trust issues with someone else listing for me anyway. I
know that's probably why we don't have staff or anybody.
We've never gone down that. No.
Every time we think about it, we think, no, I just can't relinquish any control of that.
No, can you imagine eBay was selling all the used stuff and having to test it all and clean it up and photo it and describe it and figure out what all this weird wacky stuff is we sell, and like inventory board games and all this stuff? They can't do that. There's no way.
This is what I'm trying to say, that they're not going to be listing it. So that's most of the work, let's be honest. Photographing and listing, we're still going to be doing that anyway. So anyway,
I don't know, Nick. I spend a couple hours a day shipping.
Yeah, it depends what you're selling, I guess. It does make more. Like I said, when we tried with Habu, these great big car mats that weighed a ton and were really awkward to ship, I sent those with joy. And you know, big bulky electronics, houseware, that sort of stuff, that would make sense, because it would take, A, the storage is big on those, and B, the picking and packing is a pain. But I do a lot of media, a lot of small toys and games. It's literally in a jiffy bag, done. I don't want to pay someone to do 10 seconds work, you know?
No, I understand. I'm trying to keep an open mind, though, because I think a year ago, a year ago, I would have dismissed that, just like, oh, that's ridiculous. I wouldn't even think of that, you know? And
yeah.
And I think also it depends where you are and what your future plans are. If you're in this and you want to grow to be a huge business and everything, and that's kind of in our past, we're kind of trying to do less and
You're
just
never
be
trying
happy.
to do less, to be honest.
I quite like doing less, but as a way of expanding eBay, that has to be a way to go, because expanding an eBay business is tricky, as I'm sure you're finding. I mean, what are your thoughts on expansion from where you're at now?
well, that actually is a good segue, because I had this thought this morning while I was drinking my coffee. I told you that earlier.
Yeah, let us know.
That, okay, my source, he's been awesome, but I've ended up getting like, and you get a lot of this kind of stuff too, so I'd be interested to hear what you think. I end up getting a lot of like small stuff, man, that's like, let me bring you over here. Like, okay, this is like, look, see all these DVDs? Are these listed yet? No, they're not. See all these CDs here? They're not listed. These boxes here, they're full of little cars, right? You see all that stuff, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my major failing, and it's like getting all this stock from this guy has exposed this, which is good. My major failing is I get stuff like this in, and I want to make the maximum amount of money possible off of the stuff, which I think is kind of natural. But what ends up happening is I get bogged down. I'll allow myself to get bogged down. Like, I'll take that box of cars, and some of them will be worth $20, $30. The vast majority are worth $5 or $6, and some of them may not sell at all. Yep. So I go through and I photograph each one, and I just tell myself, hey, it's not a whole lot of money usually, but man, these listings are easy. But I've got 300 of them, you know? So in those kind of cases, CDs, I've got some fanzines back here that I have hundreds of that I've listed all individually. It took me a couple of days to list them all. I think that whole mindset that I'm in, where I have to extrapolate every last ounce of profit out of every buy, it's got to go away, man. I've got to get more in a mindset where I get a box of cars like that, and I put them on the table, and maybe I shoot a 10-minute video that I'll upload to YouTube, and I'll give a link to that in the eBay listing along with some photographs, and I just sell the whole friggin' box.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I've been going through a similar thing. I way back when I was totally eke every last penny out, you know, to a fault. But these days, I mean, I had a similar lot. I don't know if you saw, it was in a few videos. They were all boxed Matchbox models of yesteryear. And I think I lotted up 15 in one box and 18 in another and sold the lot. I pulled out one that I sold individually because it was worth £10 on its own. The others I lotted and did on auction. And I got 60 or £70 for it. And I'm much more turn it over and get it out the door these days. But I used to list everything individually.
Yep.
But I never used to calculate the time I put in, and I never really used to think about it. And it's daft, because time is the most important thing we have in our business. Let's be honest. And I never used to calculate that, which is really daft.
And not only that, but like, I have plenty of stuff that's not listed. You know what I mean? So like, if I sell that stuff and I make that space and I make that time, I've got more stuff right behind it that I can list. That's not an issue. And if I run out of that stuff, I can go buy more.
Yeah.
You know? So like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I get bogged down. I thought about it. I'm like, let it go. Make a little, I mean, the margins are so awesome that I can afford to give somebody a good deal on a big lot of stuff, and it'd be better for everybody. So
yeah. And it will sell so much quicker. A job lot will sell way quicker than parting you one out. They'll be sat on your shelf for so long. And I'm so much, sorry, I'm talking too much. I'm so much, I get so much joy of just clearing stock right now. My mindset has really shifted. I've actually set myself a challenge. Sounds like a long time. I've got the rest of the year to clear a backlog. And it's not just, most of this side of the room isn't listed. It's ridiculous. And I've got a loft full. and I've never cleared my backlog, and that's my challenge this year. And you've kind of set the same for Andrew's got an office that's full as well. We're just the worst for this. So yeah, we'll see how that goes anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so your thoughts moving forward are more to lock things up, pull out the cream of it, and then lot it up. Is that how you're going to proceed?
Yeah, I mean, unless something has, like video games, I think are one exception to that, unless they're lower cost, video games. I think those are worth selling individually, but a lot of this other stuff that I just don't, I mean, it doesn't make sense to get bogged down like that, because at some point there's only so many hours in the day, and I'm only one person. Oh, y'all asked me a question earlier. I think Candace will work with me full time one day. Having said all that other stuff, I think she would.
Yeah. Cool.
Do you want that to happen?
I'm saying yes now. I don't know if
and that's a genuine question, because it's not an easy thing to do. We've had many ups and downs working together, and we physically separate ourselves because we know, I mean, we've worked together full time since when?
17 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm counting.
And we worked together in our employment a few times before that. And it can be a strain. So yeah, that was a genuine question. Do you want to?
I guess if y'all worked in the same room, like if y'all both worked exactly side by side like you're sitting right now, when it came time to punch out and relax for the evening, y'all might want to get away from each other so you didn't feel like you were at work, huh?
Yeah. 24/7 together is not. It's not all sunshine.
I saw one of Beck's vlogs it might have been one of Zahir's actually, where they were falling out over what music to play, and I thought, oh, that is us, because we have some similar tastes in music, but mostly we like to listen to our own music, and that was one big thing that we really fell out over, was what music to play while we were working.
Yeah, well, I will binge on a band. I've been binging on Radiohead for about the last 4 or 5 months, and I think I would have driven you to distraction by now.
It sounds like a really trivial thing, but it's actually really important to your sort of your mind and your headspace where you're working. So
yeah, it's an interesting one. It really is.
By the way, Steve and Steph said they've been here all the time and they've seen the whole thing. They're just working.
Oh, hi, Steve and Steph.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Steve, Steph.
Right, let's scroll down. Thanks for all the questions. They've been fantastic.
Really good questions for sure.
Let's see if we've got any more. Oh, Steve and Steph say that's true. Going back to the insurance thing, insurance is awful these past few years.
The Veranda Files says NHS is not free though; it's paid for through a levy on employees, employers, and the sellers and the seller employed. I mean, we all
contribute
to it,
yeah,
through our
it's not magic or anything,
our national insurance, but yeah, it's obviously not free. But you know that you can go to the hospital and you're not going to get a big bill of thousands of pounds if you're ill.
Right, it's just jumped a mile. Let me try and see where we were. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find out. Wow, we've missed so much as usual.
It's a lot of love for my Winnie the Pooh top in the chat.
Is there? Right. Sorry, there'll be a slight pause while I try and find out where we were. Someone's saying that as someone who is just beginning in this world, it's really interesting to hear what you guys think about telling people you are reselling. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. Sometimes you do feel nervous. Should I say, should I not? And we've had mixed results. But as Lonnie was saying, I mean, it's really worked out, and it's worked out for me. I mean, I should listen to what my own advice sometimes. And I remember, I think we chatted once, Lonnie, with Chad on one of the 6-packs we did. And he's such an advocate for handing out cards, telling everyone who will listen what you do, and he's had the most crazy scores from that. You know, people ringing him up saying, "Oh, I've got some military uniforms. You're interested?" That sort of thing. And so yeah, we know it works. We know it makes sense, but it's not always the easiest conversation to have.
Yeah, he's a good case in point, because he has gotten some of the most fantastic stuff, and that stuff is not at a boot sale or a yard sale typically. you got to like get in there and make contacts like he did, like he has, to get access to that stuff.
Yeah, because on the flip side, I think for some people, actively going out selling is something that's not an enjoyable process. It's not something they'd consider, maybe having a yard sale, having a boot sale. A lot of people just won't do that. Perhaps social interaction isn't easy. So if you hand it to them on a plate and say, I'm a guy with cash, ring me up, you know, that breaks that barrier and makes it easier for people, I guess. But I've talked about it with Zahir, you know, he used to watch our show. We've talked about getting cards made up. I don't know if Zahir ever did, but I certainly haven't done it.
Especially at a boot sale. Like at a garage sale or a yard sale, it's different because you go to their house. So they don't have to like, yeah, they had to do a lot of work to set the stuff out. But like for the boot sales, they have to load all that stuff in their vehicle and then drive it out to the field and then set it up. And then when it's over with, whatever they didn't sell, they got to load it all back up. They got to drive back and then unload it to wherever they're going to store it. And you don't know how much stuff is behind that. They may have 3 rooms at their house full of more stuff that's not out at the boot sale because their vehicle wasn't big enough to fit it.
You're absolutely right. I don't know if you remember, that exact thing happened. There was a lady who was selling some quite bulky tools, and I started asking the questions and started saying, is this your stuff? Are you having a clear out? Where's this coming from? And she'd actually split up with a partner who owed her a lot of money, and she was selling all his stuff. And I said, like, is there more? We exchanged numbers. I went round and I bought a shed load of tools. Yeah. And it was a cracking deal. There was a bike in there that I sold for a few hundred. There was loads of power tools, skis, and everything you imagine being in a shed. It was like a man.
I remember that deal. You had some like bulky tools and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
Welding kits and bench saws and all sorts of stuff. And that came from me being bold and asking the question, have you got more of this? Where's this coming from? You know? So yeah, and definitely she couldn't have physically brought it all with her, and you're right. And I think, so do you take that approach? I follow a channel of a guy who is a video game collector, and he films on a GoPro. It's called CJR, and he goes around.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, great channel. And he goes up and he literally says, whether you can see video games there or not, he says, have you got any Game Boys? Have you got any Segas? Have you got any? And he lists
we get
them all.
These people at the boot sales though, and they just annoy me.
Yeah, but I think well, I've seen it pay off.
I'm sure it does.
Big time.
It just annoys me.
But there's a way of saying it where you don't have to be annoying, right? You can be polite with it and stuff. Do you do that though?
I do. And I don't do it enough. I mean, you should. I think you should do it every single time. So I know what you're talking about, Andrea, because some people will just like run up to the sale and like, hey, you got any video games? You know, they're just like real abrasive about it or something. I don't know, like real aggressive. And I think you can make it a little smoother than that. But I think that's how you get the best stuff.
We've got the same bunch of people here. You'll go to a car boot sale. As the cars are driving in, they'll be knocking on the windows. Have you got any phones? Have you got any gold? Have you got any Lego? Have you got any video games? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that is the best way to get the stuff, because the video games and stuff that they actually set out at the sale, like, you know, as part of the sale, that stuff is going to get snatched up in the first 30 minutes. And you can only be in one place at one time. So the only way you can get that kind of stuff is if you can get to the stuff that's in the house.
And I think we forget that most people, and this is the fact that we actually rely on in our business, most people don't understand the value of certain things. And when I watch CJR, he will literally say Game Boy or a handheld thing, and people suddenly have an aha moment. Then, oh yeah, do they have any value? Do you want them? And they hadn't even thought to dig it out and pull it out.
Yeah.
So it's getting past that.
Maybe you could almost carry around flashcards even, huh? Wait, do you have any of these? And then you have like a picture of like a DS and a picture of an N64.
Yeah, or print them on a t-shirt. I want these.
Oh yeah. Nick, there you go, man.
Hey.
I see do you have any of these? And that's the shirt right there, dude. And if you got like all these different things that you look for on the front of your shirt, oh my gosh. Dude, that's brilliant.
How to spot a reseller coming. He's just got this t-shirt on and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, to be serious, I think at some point I've said this too many times, but I do want to get a card done, so I can give it to people at boot sales.
Nick, I was being serious.
What about the t-shirt? I wasn't.
Yes, indeed. Dude, that would be amazing. There's there's 247 people watching now. Let's just keep this between us, okay? Nobody make this. Nick's gonna make this shirt.
You can have that one if you want to run with it, Lonnie. That's fine.
Oh, thanks. You know what though? I think it makes a good point though. The bolder you are with most endeavors, the better you're gonna do, even if it's bold to the point of ridiculousness. Like the guy that would make that shirt and wear it, it would work. You know it would.
Yeah.
You know it would work.
It's true, and it's something that never came naturally to me, still doesn't, as we've been explaining.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen it, and I've seen the benefits from being that guy saying, "Do you have more of this? Can I buy all of it?" All of those questions. 9 times out of 10, yeah, it does get you the deal.
It does.
But it's not an easy thing. It's if you're quite shy, perhaps you're not that comfortable socially, which I'm not. It doesn't come naturally, but it's well worth experimenting with that. Have you seen any more questions you wanted to touch on or comments?
No, not really.
Okay.
People are, well, Kelly says my brother wears a jumper advertising what he buys.
Cool. I have seen once or twice, you know, you've been sat in a traffic jam and you see a van that says, "I'm a Mr. Fix-It" or whatever. And I'm imagining a van saying, "I buy this, here's my number, text me." Can you know, and I think John, yeah, who has a wonderful business model, he will tell anyone who cares to listen what he does, and he gets stuff. He auctions it. Different business model, but that works for him.
Well, he actually sold that business. He still owns the business, but he doesn't run that location. But when he did, he had it plastered on the side of one of those big American picker type vans.
Yeah.
And it worked. People would come up to him all the time. "Hey, you buy stuff?" It's like, "Yeah."
I think
there's a frog outside. I don't know if you can hear it.
A frog?
A frog?
Yeah, there's a frog croaking out here. Just stop raining.
Wow.
Brilliant.
I was going to say, in all seriousness, necessity kind of forces these things. If we were struggling to find stock, we would have employed all of these methods to the nth degree, you know, but finding stock has never been our problem. Finding too much stock has been a problem, still is.
Isn't that funny? Like even now, you've been on YouTube, what, 5 years or something like that?
Yeah.
So, but still, our favorite videos to make, I feel like, are, and probably a lot of people's favorite videos to watch, are when we buy stuff. Like, look, I sourced all this stuff. I got this haul, and I think I focus a lot on that part. And that ain't the problem. If you've been doing this just a little while, finding the stuff ain't the problem. It's the other stuff. But we love talking about finding it, don't we?
Yeah, it's getting it sold and out the door that is the actual challenge. That's the actual work.
Well, yeah, that the sourcing it is the fun bit, which is why we end up with too much stuff.
Yeah, you said that right.
And I think somebody said in the chat earlier, just stop buying new stuff and list the old stuff. And it sounds very simple, but it's not as easy as that.
And that is the challenge I've set myself, honestly. I was earlier, I'm going to lay out a whole load on here of stuff that I'm going to research and get it listed. Yeah. No excuses. See, stuff I've moved around the office 10 times.
In our business, you've got to take the opportunities when they come.
Yeah. That's a good excuse I've used a lot.
Yeah. Well, if you don't go out there, you know you're going to miss out on that hard head that's sitting on that table.
Exactly. Right now. Yeah.
See, yeah, I call that FOMO, fear of missing out. Mm-hmm. Last weekend was bank holiday here, so we had a long weekend. There's so many boot sales going on, and we didn't go to any because it was my sister's birthday, and we went to the zoo and spent Easter with the kids and all of that.
Yeah.
But I was having that pang of what's out there, what am I missing? And then with Facebook these days and Instagram, it's in your pocket. Look what I found, isn't it amazing? Look what I've. Yeah.
Well, Nick, in some other universe, you did. In an alternate universe, Nick and Andrea went to that sale, and they found this amazing item, this Grail item. And not only did it sell for a lot of money, they made a video about it, and it got like 5 million views. So yeah, that's the part. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know.
You're messing
Like,
with
that
my
fear of
head
missing
now.
out is what I'm describing. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. Shelley says, well, to be fair, I'm not finding enough stuff at a profitable price.
Okay.
Yeah, she's struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not saying that would necessarily be the case for everyone, but it's never been our problem keeping up with the stock, keeping up with how much stock we buy.
But see, that's kind of the blessing and the curse of buying whatever. It's not specializing in anything. It's like just going out and just buying stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, you showed us some of your stock earlier. Can you sum up in a nutshell what you go hunting for? Is there anything you're particularly looking for? What are your go-to sort of areas?
No, there's not, because I made 2 sales during our show here today. One of them, just to give you some idea, one of them was a VCR, and the other one was these vintage Dr. Scholl's arch supports. So, I mean, I'll sell anything. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, you want a baseball glove? I'm your man.
But I don't know about you, Lonnie, but I love the fact that on my shelves you can get, well, the stuff I picked out earlier, it's like a Tamagotchi, a fishing reel, a Dungeons and Dragons game, and a typewriter. It's like, and I could go on, and I plan to do a video of just, this is the random stuff I'm tasking myself to list, and it will be so obscure. That's what keeps it interesting. Do you like that element of it?
Oh, I love it, man, because you get to learn every day, and it's fun to mess with this stuff and learn. And then usually there's like, and that's the good thing about YouTube also, is a lot of times you get to meet people that are like, no matter what I show on YouTube, there will be an expert in that thing watching.
True.
You know, no matter what. And a lot of times they'll reach out and give me information, or I'll talk to them or whatever. And, you know, it's fun. And actually, you know, do y'all ever watch Pawn Stars, the US show Pawn Stars?
yeah,
I have done. I have in the past. Yeah.
You know what? Like whenever something weird comes in, which is every time because they make it that way. But Rick, he'll like, you know, Steve has been making jokes like this, like on their storage unit videos.
Yep.
Where, well, he'll pick some object up and say, oh, this is interesting. We're gonna have to go find an expert to talk to about this, right?
Yeah.
But after you've been doing this for a while, you actually do have almost like the Rolodex of experts at your disposal. Man, I know people now that I didn't know like 3 or 4 years ago. I know experts that I can like contact about just about anything right now. Video games, clothing, electronics. I know somebody that's going to know.
It's amazing. I actually did a video going back a number of years where I know nothing about wrestling, like American WWF and all of that stuff. I'd amassed a crate with about 50 in. I did a video where I pointed the camera at them and said 1, 2, 3, and that still gets loads of views, and people just type them all in. There must be 100 people that have told me all of their names. And
yeah,
recently I picked up a BBC microcomputer, and I've got a good friend, Dave, who has told me in detail what I need to be looking for, how to test it. He did a similar thing with some other electronic equipment, because that's his field. That's his joy. That's what he knows about. And I mean, I can't even think of half the advice I've got through this channel, but you're absolutely right. It's been so helpful. So perhaps we should, oh, you still there? Oh, we went.
I'm here. Yep.
Perhaps because we've been on over an hour now, I just wanted to talk a little bit about YouTube to wrap up, because I know it's a passion of yours. It's a passion we share. Where do you stand on the debate, which rears its head every now and again, that we are sharing too much, we are ruining it for everybody else? I've had a lot of that recently because our channel blew up. A lot of new people have come in and they've just been offended by what I'm sharing. You know,
they want somebody to punch you in the face.
Oh, I had a nice one the other day. Nick, you're ruining it for everybody. I want to punch you in the face, sort of thing. Where do you stand on that debate?
I don't think, you know what, I think that right there is why I thought that people in the UK are more sensitive to reselling than in the United States, because I don't really get that much of that. I don't hear that very often. Like, you're ruining, like, I don't hear that very often at all, like almost never.
That's interesting. Yeah,
but
we get a lot.
But ultimately, I don't care. You know, like, if I want to do YouTube videos, I'll do them. I really don't care.
Has the thought ever run through your head,
Yes.
that there's a guy that's getting to the garage sales just before you, that you told last week to pick up VHS players, and he's putting them in the back of his car as you turn up? Has that ever crossed your mind?
It has, but then I look around at all the unlisted inventory, and it goes back to the fact that sourcing ain't my problem.
No.
You know? And that's I mean, I guess you could say, yeah, he's buying that stuff, and then now the market's flooded, prices are dry. I don't, man, that is a very negative way to look at the world, negative world view. And it's just a rotten way to think and a rotten way to feel. So I choose not to feel that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so do we.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit of head in the sand to it, ignoring it. But I don't worry about it, and I don't think it's affected me. I don't know. Maybe it has. Who knows?
But listen, what the conversation we just had before we touched on this argument, that I don't believe in myself. It's just that we get it a lot. You were explaining how much help you've got, how much knowledge you've got, which you would never have had if you weren't Lonnie on YouTube, right?
True. And how can I get your knowledge? How can I watch your channel and get your knowledge? And that's fine. But then I can't do it. Like, how could I have that? Because the people that are saying that are usually watching your stuff, right, Nick?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've had a lot of that.
I know that always makes me laugh. I think that's so ironic that people that are telling us we shouldn't share are watching our videos, and you think, well, if you're really that against it, then don't watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, did you see
Random
some questions?
Chaos said, Nick and Andrea, just out of interest, how are you ruining it for other people? Do they mean that there's more competition on eBay? Well, yeah,
that tends to be the argument.
They say that we're bringing more people into it. We're telling people what to buy, we're flooding the market with certain items. The argument tends to be that we're sharing what to look out for, how much it's worth online. So more people are going out and finding it. So we potentially can't find it. There's more of it on eBay, so the price will drop. That's the argument. And there is an element of truth in it that you can't deny, but it doesn't mean that I think we should not talk about what we do and share what we do because of it. And the positives outweigh the negatives to all of it. I mean, we wouldn't have met such great people and made such great friends and have such a good community of people around us if we weren't doing this, and we all help each other, I think.
Well, it's added, I think the way I like to, it's added such a huge dimension to our business life and to our life generally, YouTube has, that even if it has been detrimental in some way to my business, I'll take it.
But not that much, and it isn't to other people's either. When you really boil it down, it's not that much.
You know what's kind of cool though? Like, okay, let's look at it from a different angle. If we put out information, right? Now, in information anyways, like, people have got to understand, information is free now. Whereas like 20 years ago, information had some type of value. Now it's the execution has the value. The information is worth nothing. That's my opinion anyway. But I don't know. I think there's a barrier now, like the low hanging, easy stuff that we all talk about all the time. That stuff, maybe some of that stuff will get harder, but if you go a little deeper, there's stuff everywhere. Like the more you learn, the more stuff is going to open up to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a really nice comment here actually from Jack Walker. Says, sharing creates innovation.
Wow.
True. Well, open source.
What sharing has done for me, as in what I've consumed on YouTube, is it's inspired me. It's inspired me to be better. It's inspired me to change. It's inspired me in many, many ways. And that's so valuable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm certainly going to
Totally.
carry on. I hope you will, Lonnie, because I love your channel. I implore everyone to go and check out Lonnie's channel. I forgot to put the link there, but you can just search Garage Flips and you will find it in a flash. But I will put the link there below if you're watching this later, so it'll be there for you. Yeah, I think we'll wrap this one up. We've been going an hour and 20 minutes, believe it or not. So let me just scroll to the end. Did we lose you, Lonnie?
No,
oh no. Oh, okay. So thanks everyone who's joined. I hope we got to some of your questions. It's really difficult to keep up with the side chat. And thank you so much again, Lonnie, for joining me, or joining us, should I say.
Yeah, thanks for having me, y'all. Man, I really enjoy. I knew this was going to be good, but this talk was even more enjoyable than I thought. And your viewers have like, I need to come steal some more of your viewers because they ask like way better questions than my typical viewers do.
Well, hopefully they're all coming. They're all coming over.
Yeah, y'all come on. Y'all are good.
Fantastic. Okay, well, yeah, we'll have to do these more often. I always enjoy chatting to you.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll get the four of us on, get Candice in.
Yeah, that would be good, actually.
I would love to hear Candice's point of view on what you do, because it's always really intriguing to find out
right.
to find out what the other half thinks of it all. So maybe we'll set that up sometime. Okay.
I don't know if we've lost him now.
Have we lost him now?
Wait, I'm here.
Oh no.
I was just being really still. I was looking at your chat. I was like frozen. I'm sorry. I do that sometimes.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So we're going to wrap it up. Thanks again for joining us. If you enjoy these Hangouts, please let us know. Drop us a comment below. Click the like button if you haven't already. If you don't enjoy it, I don't know why you're watching, but click the dislike button. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. And thanks, Lonnie.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.